Part 8. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 73. The two Yama people had just woken up, but they did not attack immediately. On the one hand, it was because her acupuncture points were tapped by Hinata Nariku. On the other hand, it was because she had no idea what was going on now. Her memory was still stuck in the battle with Susanoo of Uchiha Fugaku. At that time, I only remembered that a sudden burst of force knocked her completely into the tailed beast shape away. It flew directly for thousands of meters. After that, she lost consciousness. You're awake? I have something to ask Airway and I need your cooperation. Hyuga Nariku came over and said straight to the point. Why am I here? Yamuren is a little in a trance. After you were knocked out by me, you were also affected by the explosion of the eight-tailed beast jade, which is why you were unconscious for so long. Hyuga Nariku said in a calm tone. This is already considered her fate. If after being knocked out, she exits the full-tailed beast mode, and now the person is gone. Yukito frowned. She has been tailed. Have you ever exploded a beast jade? I can't recall it at all. Are you a Konoha ninja? Am I in Konoha now? After a long time, after seeing Hinata Nariku's Konoha ninja forward protector, Yuki realized something was wrong. Could she have been captured? Thinking of this, she suddenly turned pale. A female ninja, or a Jinchuriki, was captured in the war captured. This is not a good ending. You are indeed being held captive. But the location is just the opposite. You are now at the entrance of Union Village. Your Raikage-sama is now hiding in the village and unable to come out. Hinata Nariku said with a smile. Impossible. Yukito subconsciously retorted. Does this mean that Konoha led people to block the entrance of Kumogakure village? How is this possible? Not to mention the fourth Raikage, any villager in Kumoyan village would be shocked if such a thing happened. Ask for a call back. If you don't believe it, you can go out and have a look. Hyuga Nariku turned sideways and pointed at the door of the camp. The two Yama people were doubtful and walked out with strange expressions on their faces. This. When she came out, she saw the place she was most familiar with. Union Village is surrounded by mountains. In the sky above the village, there are strange birds flying. Yukito still remembers that the Uchiha ninjas from Konoha came here on such a strange bird. Those Konoha ninjas seem to be practicing some ninjutsu. From time to time, thunder and lightning would strike towards Union Village below, and then be blocked by an invisible barrier. Am I dreaming? Yukito couldn't help but murmur to himself. Is it true that the Raikage is hiding in the village as the guy said just now? All the ninjas in Konoha flew over the village and bombarded the village. No one cares. Okay, I've finished reading it, can you cooperate with me? Hinata Nariku, who was half leaning at the door of the camp, said slowly. How can it be? After being stunned for a while, Yamukei retorted. Although I don't understand what happened, I am Kumogakure to Yuki. There's no way you just give in. As he spoke, the blue chakra with black stripes on his body exploded, and the blocked acupuncture points were opened one by one. Sure enough, are we still going to have a fight? Hyuga Nariku sighed, reached out to grab Yukito's shoulders, and with the help of the repulsive power of the reincarnation eye, he rose into the sky. Flying at full speed, he landed in a mountain near Union Village in almost a few breaths. Middle. The two Yama people finally realized what they were doing, and they were shocked and quickly backed away. Can this guy actually fly? As soon as possible, I don't want to waste more time. Hyuga Nariku said slowly to Yukito. Hateful. Don't underestimate me. The Yuki's expression changed and he rushed forward. However, Hinata Nariku punched the two Yuki back and said nonchalantly. There's no need to take this form out, right? Yukito stopped being knocked back, and her pretty face turned solemn. She is now in the form of a tailed beast. Although this form is not as good as the complete tailed beast, it is very good for speed and strength. What a huge increase! How could it be so easily punched back? Yeah? Then I'll get serious. After whispering a few words, the tailed beast's chakra exploded instantly. The blue and black streaks were like burning flames, and the huge figure of the two-tailed Mataru suddenly appeared. You succeeded in a sneak attack that time, but it won't be so easy this time. Yama couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed when he thought of the last time he was knocked down with a single blow and even captured. Yeah. Hyuga Nariku didn't care, slowly raised his hand and said. Well, this time you can try to prepare in advance and count down to 3. 3, 2, 1. After counting down unhurriedly, the repulsive force of the Tsensegan suddenly erupted in Hinatan Nariku's palm. Boom! The boulders and trees in the middle flew backwards under the repulsive force. What kind of power is this? The two wooden figures controlled the two tails, supporting the two tails behind them, and holding on to prevent themselves from falling back. It looks like the wind release ninjutsu, but it is completely different. Without the wind release, the strong wind is just showing an invisible force. It hit Airway. Yukito, be careful, it's best not to fight him again. Airway reminded Yamuren in his heart. This ability seemed to be a repulsive force, which reminded Airway of the reincarnation eye of the Six Paths Sage. How can it be? I belong to Kumo-yin, you two Yamu people. However, even though she was holding on, Yamuren sadly found that the second tail was still retreating back bit by bit. Just when she was about to despair, the invisible repulsive force suddenly stopped. It's over. Yukito was overjoyed. Now that it's over, it's her turn to fight back. Good. Hyuga Nariku nodded and commented. Although he has not entered the reincarnated eye chakra mode, he can withstand his normal repulsion, which is considered very strong. In the original work, Tendu Pain seriously shot the Shinra Tensei, directly killing the three Bunta big and small toads hit from the center of Konoha to the edge of Konoha. Even if it was as big as Gamabunta, it would completely lose its fighting power with just one shot of Shinra Tensei. It seems that compared to giant psychic beasts like Gamabunta, the tailed beasts are still much stronger. Well, this time it's the other way around, so again, be prepared. After a simple countdown, the gravitational force of the reincarnated eye exploded, trying to attract the two tails. Yamuren's consciousness was dull for a moment, and he realized that Airway's huge body could not stop falling forward. In Union Village, a group of Union villagers whose houses were built on the mountainside also noticed the fighting here. That is, Airway. Lord Yukito is still alive. Send someone quickly to rescue Mr. Yukito. Lord Raikage won't even let you out of the village, how can you save him? Yukito-sama seems to be fighting someone? Is it a Konoha ninja? I hope Yukito-sama can kill all those damn Konoha ninjas. In the Raikage building, the fourth Raikage saw the figure of Airway and subconsciously breathed a sigh of relief. But then, there was a burst of irritation. Yukito is still alive, but now he has become a prisoner. Moreover, there is no way to save people here in a short time. Terrace. How long does it take for Chakra Cannon to heal? The fourth Raikage roared angrily. It will take at least 2 months. Today said helplessly. The Chakra Cannon project was started not long ago by Kumogakure. If it is to be put into use and have enough lethality, it will take a lot of time. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 74. The villagers of Union Village are looking forward to the two Yuki people defeating the Konoha ninja outside. However, the situation on Yukito's side is exactly the opposite. Even though she had completely transformed into a tailed beast, she was powerless to resist Hyuga Nariku's gravity and repulsion. Yukito, surrender, You are no match for him. In Yamuran's consciousness space, Airway Yalu's voice sounded. Airway's body, as huge as a mountain, was like duckweed in the wind in front of the surging gravitational repulsion. Impossible. Yamuran bit his silver teeth secretly and continued to hold on, controlling Airway's body not to slide forward. I am a 2-year-old Yuki. How could it be possible? Just admit defeat like that. Hyaga Naruko nodded slowly and commented. The fighting spirit is good, but unfortunately, it is useless. After the words fell, the gravity of the reincarnated eye suddenly turned into a repulsive force. Boom! Caught off guard, the huge body of the two tails was directly blasted into the air. Hinatan Naruko shook his head, not surprised. But it is a pity that he defeated Yuki again. People can't get any system rewards. If you defeat the same person, you can only get chakra points for the first time. However, his purpose this time is not to fight. Slowly walked over, Urbai Yuki the human has exited the form of a complete tailed beast. Hinatan Naru taps her forehead gently and enters the consciousness space. The consciousness bodies of Futamata and Yukito are both inside. Was what you used just now the ability of the Samsara Eye? Airway Maturai asked, staring into Hyaga Naruko's eyes. The invisible power just now was very familiar to him. It was the power that the six-path sage once had. You should have seen the Samsara Eye, which is completely different from my eyes. Hyaga Naruko slowly formed the seal to enter the reincarnation eye chakra mode, condensed a seeking jade, and held it in his hand. Seeking Deo Jade. Airway's face changed drastically and his voice became louder. Kyudeo Jade, what is it? Yukito was a little confused. This was the first time she saw Airway so excited. After the Immortal of Six Paths created you, can you still create the Jade of Seeking the Way? Hyaga Naruko asked. What he wanted to know this time was what state the Six Paths sage was in back then. How do you know we were created by the Immortal of Six Paths? Airway asked subconsciously, but looking at Hinatan Naruko, he didn't have any intention of returning, so he could only answer angrily. After the old man separated the 9 of us, he took us with him for a while. I remember that the old man could make this Tao-seeking jade at any time. Hyaga Naruko nodded thoughtfully. Even after dividing the chakra of the 9-tailed beasts, the six-path sage still has at least a six-path realm. Maybe it is because of dividing the chakra of the tailed beasts. So the immortal of the six paths fell from the realm of the blood successor snare. After that, he was only at the level of the six paths. He resisted the erosion of time and was dead on the physical level. However, this was just his guess. When did the sage of six paths die? Hyaga Naruko turned to ask this question. I don't know the specific time either. The second tail looked at the Taoist jade in Hinatan Naruko's hand, and there was no air of a tailed beast in his tone of voice. It knew very well how powerful this seemingly inconspicuous black sphere was. In its memory, there was only the six paths sage. And Azura, the youngest son of the immortal of six paths, can condense the Tao-seeking jade. At that time, after the old man separated us, he didn't seem to be in a very good condition. After finding suitable places for each of the 9 of us, we were allowed to leave. After that, the old man got married again and had 2 children. Airway returned obediently. Sage of six paths. Married, with 2 children. Yukito felt as if he was listening to a book from heaven. Sage of six paths, isn't that a legendary figure? Did it really exist before, and even created Yalu? Wait, are you saying that the immortal of six paths only married and had children after he separated you? Hyaga Naruko's eyes lit up. After seeing the 2 tails nodding in confirmation, he felt that what he had just thought should be confirmed. Why did the sage of six paths marry Indra and Azura after he separated the tailed beasts? Because he was no longer the immortal blood successor at that time. Before that, the immortal of six paths who could not die had not considered this issue. and after he separated the tailed beast and found that he was getting older, he had to, regardless of leaving descendants, he will inherit the ninja sect he founded. Another point that Hyuga Nariku can confirm is that when Kaguya was sealed, the two brothers of the Six Paths were already at the level of the Six Paths. The sage of the Six Paths at that time was also even at Sutsuki Hag Oromo has been able to independently condense the path-seeking jade, and can also use the Six Paths Earth Blast Star to seal Kaguya. Moreover, unlike Uchiha Obito and Uchiha Madara who relied on the Ten Tails to become the Six Paths, at Sutsuki Hag Oromo originally he is a strong man at the Six Paths level who has completely mastered the yin-yang, 5 elements and 7 elements of chakra. After sealing Kaguya and absorbing the Ten Tails chakra into his body to become the Ten Tails Jinchuriki, the Six Path Sage directly ascended to the position of the blood successor level. And it was precisely because of relying on the external force of the Ten-tailed chakra to board the blood succession snare that the Sage of Six Paths fell again after he separated the chakra of the nine-tailed beasts. Therefore, if you want to become a complete six-path level, you need to fully master the yin-yang, 5 elements and 7 chakras. The two brothers of Six Paths back then were in this realm, able to actively use chakra to create the jade of seeking the way. On top of this, what is needed to board the blood succession snare is a large amount of chakra. Hyuga Nariku thought secretly in his heart. However, he is still a little far away from the blood successor's snare. What he needs to do now is to fully master the yin-yang, 5 elements and 7 series chakra. I understand, thank you very much. Hyuga Nariku nodded to Airway. In the consciousness space, Airway Mata and Yukito looked at each other. He understands? He just said these few words, what does he understand? Why don't they understand anything? Seeing that Hyuga Nariku had exited the consciousness space, Airway reminded Yukito again. Yukito, don't be hostile to that man just now. If he wants to kill you, I can't save you. Is he that strong? Yukito looked confused. She has a good relationship with Mitata, and she believes Madari will not harm her. But even if she was no match for Hyuga Nariku before, Madarita wouldn't be so afraid of the tailed beast, right? There is a huge gap in levels between you. Union Village should not provoke such people. The second tail said, thinking back to the seeking jade before. After so many years, it actually saw the seeking jade in the hands of a human again. On the way back to the Konoha camp, Yuki seemed extremely well behaved. All the previous arrogance had disappeared. Arjang. Hey, what was that seeking jade just now? Yukito couldn't help but ask. She just asked Airway, but Airway only knew that the Kyudeo jade was very strong, but she didn't know how the Kyudeo jade was made. Why do you know so much about the Immortal of Six Paths? Isn't the Immortal of Six Paths a legendary figure? Did it really ever exist? Hyuga Nariku frowned and said. You talk too much. Just stay well and don't think about causing trouble. You. Yukito looked at Hinata Nariku who left after saying something coldly. He couldn't help but feel angry. He was just about to call him out. Do I even know his name? Yukito felt a little ridiculous. They all had a fight, but I don't know who was defeated. Union Village. The fourth Raikage looked at Yukito who followed Hyuga Nariku obediently and did not dare to resist, with a gloomy expression. He also hoped that the second tail would go on a rampage and cause those Konoha ninjas to suffer a severe loss. Not enough, Yukito is obviously no match for Hyuga Nariku. Raikage-sama, many people are asking us to go to war with the Konoha ninjas and rescue the Yuki people. Tao Tai said, wiping the sweat from his forehead. Bang! Raikage was so angry that he broke the table with his palm again. He didn't want to start a war. If he could beat him, he would have fought out. How could he still be blocked like this? Don't dare to go out in the village. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 75. Inside Union Village. Why don't Lord Raikage fight out? Those Konoha ninjas are too arrogant. Some Union villagers said angrily. Now, strange giant birds often fly over the sky in Union Village. From time to time, there are also beasts like thunder and lightning crashing down below. He was actually blocked in the village and didn't dare to go out. Our Union Village's reputation will be ruined. Lord Yukito was captured by the Konoha ninjas, but Lord Raikage had no intention of fighting back. I think Raikage-sama is probably scared of being beaten. Don't talk nonsense, we just lost 3,000 people before, and Lord Raikage also needs some buffering time. You Union villagers scolded. Then we should fight out immediately, kill all those damn Konoha ninjas, and avenge those who died in the battle. Someone raised his voice and said. The problem is that Lord Raikage obviously doesn't want to fight now. Even if he doesn't plan to fight back, shouldn't he still find a way to make Konoha's troops retreat? Didn't Konoha ask us to hand over Hiruzen Sarutobi? Why does that useless old man stay in our village? Who asked him to come to us? He even provoked Konoha's troops. When Sarutobi Hiruzen was mentioned, a group of people immediately began to yell and curse. No one in Kumogakure village welcomed Sarutobi Hiruzen. If there is still controversy over whether to start a war against Konoha, then drive away Sarutobi Hiruzen. Everyone agreed on this point. Inside the Raikage building, Hiruzen Sarutobi walked in angrily. Lord Raikage. I don't know how many assassinations have gone bad these days. If this continues, I'm afraid I will die directly in Union Village within 7 days. Sarutobi Hiruzen said angrily, with wounds in many places on his body. He now wears a hood to hide his identity when walking in Kumogakure village. Otherwise, the villagers of Kumogakure village will block him and point their noses at him. Let him get out. Let him die quickly. And the residents he arranged for him in Cloud Hidden village will be assassinated more than once every day. Many people think that he should be killed and handed over, Konoha ninja he would retreat. And what's even more frustrating is that in the face of these assassinations, he could only barely restrain the assassins, but he couldn't fight back. If he dared to fight back, more people would definitely demand that he be killed. Hand it over. Over the past few days, his body has been covered with various wounds. The fourth Raikage frowned and snorted coldly. It's not you who caused the trouble. If you could just get rid of Hinata Nariku in your village, wouldn't there be so many problems? If Lord Raikage hadn't sent people to kidnap Hinata's house, these things would never have happened. Sarutobi Hiruzen retorted resolutely. How dare you talk back? The fourth Raikage was worried that he had no place to vent his anger, so he immediately punched Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen was caught off guard and was knocked to the ground by the punch. Lord Raikage, calm down, calm down. Dode hurriedly went up and grabbed the fourth Raikage. To be fair, he also wanted to go up and punch Sarutobi Hiruzen twice. He has also been under a lot of pressure these days. On the one hand, he has to pay attention to the research progress of the chakra cannon. On the other hand, he has to pay attention to the research progress of the chakra cannon. Someone was sent to explain to the villagers that the 3,000 people who died in the battle had been killed by the wood industry ninjas long ago and had nothing to do with the eight-tailed beast Jade. As for the role of the explanation, no one could tell. Whether the villagers believed it or not, but at least everyone is sure of one thing, those 3,000 people did not leave even a corpse, and the pot should belong to the eight tails. Moreover, recently there have been many voices in the village accusing the fourth Raikage. They say that he is too aggressive, acted too radically and took risks. He rushed into the land of fire with 3,000 people regardless, but in the end escaped back with only his sworn brother. Especially the families of those who died in the battle. Their opinions on the fourth Raikage bigger. Lord Raikage, there is a group of people outside demanding that Sarutobi Hiruzen be handed over. A Kumogakure Umbu hurriedly ran in to report. Under the Raikage building, many people gathered. With all kinds of dissatisfaction, many people finally couldn't bear it anymore. Tell that old guy Sarutobi Hiruzen to get lost. Fight out and drive those Konoha ninjas back to their hometown. Go and avenge your comrades who died in battle. A group of people were shouting. These days, everyone in Union Village is holding a fire in their hearts. Whether it is anger towards the Konoha ninja, or disgust towards Sarutobi Hiruzen, or even dissatisfaction with the Fourth Raikage's retreat. Everyone's emotions finally exploded. These guys. The Fourth Raikage is also full of anger, but doesn't know how to vent it. Lord Raikage. At this moment, in the sky above Union Village, Hinata Nariku's voice suddenly came over. Today is the deadline. Have you made a decision whether to hand over Sarutobi Hiruzen? The Fourth Raikage was stunned for a moment, and then suddenly said angrily. Didn't you agree on 7 days? Today is only the 5th day. Oh? Does Raikage Dano mean to accuse us of not being trustworthy? Hinata Nariku asked with a smile on his lips. It seems that when Lord Raikage led his men to invade the Land of Fire, it was within the time limit of your 7-day ultimatum. What we are doing is just following what Raikage Dano did before. The Fourth Raikage below was so angry that he wanted to scold his mother. It has always been them in Cloud Hidden Village who have not kept their promises to others. Now it is their turn to have to ask others to keep their promises. Okay, no matter what today, you have to give me an answer, Sarutobi Hiruzen, are you going to make friends or not? Hyuga Nariku made a gesture seal in his hand. Over the newly repaired Raikage building, faint thunder and lightning began to appear again. No. What can you do? The Fourth Raikage said through gritted teeth. He couldn't just hand over Sarutobi Hiruzen. First, he was forced to hand him over now, which would completely ruin Kumogakure's face. Being blocked at the entrance of the village and forced to surrender, Kumogakure would no longer have to hang out among the 5 great ninja villages. Secondly, he did not think that Hyuga Nariku would give up if he handed over Sarutobi Hiruzen. Thirdly, it would be easier to deal with Konoha ninjas by keeping the old guy Sarutobi Hiruzen around. After all, no one knows the ninjas in his village better than the shadow of a village. Although, this shadow has defected. Yeah. Hinata Nariku narrowed his eyes, nodded slowly, and flew away. Suddenly, both the Raikage and the villagers in Kumogakure breathed a sigh of relief. The momentum in the thundercloud just now was really terrifying. If it is hit on the barrier may really be broken. Although it will be patched up soon, the place below that was struck by lightning before patching up will definitely suffer. Sure enough, that bastard still can't do anything with our barrier. The Fourth Raikage said with a sigh of relief. Next, as long as he continues to open the barrier all day long, until the development of the chakra cannon is completed, he can kill them all in one go. Uchiha Obito, who has secretly lurked in Kumogakure village, saw Hinata Nariku retreated and shook his head. Kumogakure's barrier could not stop his divine power. He could come and leave whenever he wanted. If it's just this little strength, it would be too disappointing for me. Obviously, he doesn't think Hyuga Nariku has any better way to break through Kumogakure's protective barrier. Thunder Release Kirin can only open a hole, and it will soon be blocked by Kumogakure. And such a short period of time for a period of time, there was simply not enough time for the outside Konoha ninjas to enter at the same time. And if Hyuga Nariku broke in alone, Obito would become a turtle in the urn again. He did not think that Hyuga Nariku would have the strength to defeat Kumogakure alone. Boom! The ground suddenly shook. What happened? Was there an earthquake? The Union villagers who were cheering just now suddenly fell and staggered. It's not an earthquake, just one. What's going on? Well, why is it dark? The villagers of Union Village suddenly found that everything around them suddenly became dark, as if the sun had suddenly set. That is. Looking up, everyone's eyes widened in surprise, cold sweat fell from their faces, and they were speechless. Hinatan Naraku, who was wrapped in a light blue chakra coat, raised his hand to support a mountain and flew towards the Rakage building. There is a mountain that is hundreds of meters high and has been cut neatly by something unknown below. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 76. Impossible. Am I dreaming? Is this really human power? Who did we provoke? The Union villagers below were so shocked that they even forgot to escape. No matter how strong the barrier is, it can't stop a mountain from falling, right? Is this the full strength of that guy? The fourth Rakage looked at the mountains in the sky and murmured to himself. How is this possible? In the dark, Obito Uchiha's eyes were splitting. Before, Hyuga Naraku flew over on a black giant eagle. Now he flew over directly by himself. He even flew over with a mountain peak. Next to the huge mountain peak, Hyuga Naraku's light blue figure looks extremely small. But now no one dares to have any contempt anymore. They thought that the previous Thunder Release Kirin was Hyuga Naraku's strongest move. However, now, this scene taught them a hard lesson. Don't regard your own upper limit as someone else's upper limit. Now, since Lord Rakage is unwilling to hand over Sarutobi Hiruzen, are you ready to face the sanctions? Hyuga Naraku's cold voice came down from high altitude. Everyone present could hear it clearly. Right, Rakage-sama, please hand over that old guy Sarutobi. Someone said with trembling hearts. We can't destroy their Union village just for such an old guy. Lord Rakage. Make a decision quickly. Inside the Rakage's office, some Kumogakure ninjas couldn't help but speak. Seeing the scene outside, they were almost frightened to death. Compare. The fourth Rakage roared angrily. Prepare the tailed beast Jade and knock down that mountain. Okay, it's just a mountain, let me take it down with one shot, you idiot. A trace of sweat fell from Kiribi's forehead, and he forcibly sang rap to cheer himself up. Hitting people with mountains. How could such a thing happen? Everyone, take shelter in the air raid shelter immediately. The barrier team immediately opened a hole and let the eight-tailed beast Jade be shot out. The fourth Rakage issued orders one by one. And you old guy. The fourth Rakage looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen with a sullen face. This old guy has not made any contribution since he ran to their hidden cloud village, but instead he caused them so much trouble. Go to hell, what's the use of keeping you? If you want to kill Hyuga Naraku, you should rely on the chakra cannon, and hope that the old guy Sarutobi Hiruzen is useless. The fourth generation Rakage directly turned on the Thunder Escape Chakra mode and hit Sarutobi Hiruzen. This time, Hiruzen Sarutobi, who had had a bad premonition for a long time, finally managed to escape. However, the fourth Rakage never stopped to attack him crazily. It seems like he wants to vent all the frustration and anger he has been feeling these past few days. Facing the fourth Rakage, the fastest ninja in the world, Hiruzen Sarutobi found that the 5 elements escape techniques he was good at had no effect at all. After a while, Sarutobi Hiruzen had many more wounds on his body. Lord Rakage, Hyuga Naraku is our biggest enemy. Sarutobi Hiruzen barely dodged an attack and said hurriedly. I want you dead now. The fourth Rakage had no intention of stopping at all, his face was full of anger. The fourth Rakage. A dull voice suddenly appeared in the Rakage's office. A man wearing a black robe and an orange one-eyed swirling mask suddenly appeared. Uchiha Obito. Sarutobi Hiruzen, I want to take him away. Uchiha Obito said without any fluctuation in his voice, as if he was not here to discuss at all, but to inform. Who are you? The fourth Rakage looked a little scared. How did this person suddenly appear in his Rakage building? There was no sign of any intrusion at all. You do not need to know. Uchiha Obito said in a calm voice. The guy who hides his head and shows his tail will die. The fourth Hokage shouted violently, raised his sword and struck at Obito. What? The body passed through Obito's figure without any hesitation, and the fourth Hokage's hand sword directly hit the wall of the Hokage's office. Uchiha Obito's expression remained unchanged. He walked up to Sarutobi Hiruzen and said, "If you stay here, you won't survive. If you want to survive, don't resist." Sarutobi Hiruzen's face darkened and he didn't speak. He really couldn't survive if he stayed here. If Hyuga Naruka breaks Kumogakure, he will definitely be killed. And if Hyuga Naruka fails to succeed, then the angry Kumogakure ninja will also. I would just tear him apart. What's more, the fourth Hokage has already attacked him. Thinking of these things, Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly felt a little sad in his heart. He was clearly the third Hokage of Konoha a few days ago, and as the most powerful person in the ninja world, the most powerful person in the village. However, now, it is difficult for him to even survive. In the current situation, he has no choice at all. He can only leave with this masked man who does not know why he appeared. Then I will take Sarutobi Hiruzen with me. Uchiha Obito said to the fourth Hokage, who wanted to rush over again, and put his hand on Sarutobi Hiruzen's shoulder. The divine power was activated. The bodies of Uchiha Obito and Sarutobi Hiruzen became distorted at the same time, disappeared in an instant. Asshole! The fourth Hokage yelled and hit him, but he didn't hit anything. Is it a space-time ninjutsu? Damn it! The fourth Hokage's face was as dark as ink. Sarutobi Hiruzen also ran away, and the mountain outside was about to fall down. Look at me, I can blow the mountains away with one shot, oh yeah. Kiribi, who has completely transformed into a tailed beast, is accumulating power with a tailed beast-sized tailed beast jade in his mouth. An ordinary tailed beast jade can break the mountain into pieces, but the broken stones will also be broken at an extremely fast speed. Smashed into Kumogakure's barrier. In other words, it must be a tailed beast jade big enough to completely destroy that mountain. Hinata Naruka looked at the prepared tailed beast jade below and dropped the mountain peak in his hand without any care. Boom! The tailed beast jade, which is dozens of meters in diameter, penetrates directly through the huge mountain peak. The raging torrent of chakra easily shattered all the rubble. Good. Hyuga Naruka nodded slightly and waved to the distance. Another mountain that he had previously chopped off with the golden wheel reincarnation explosion slowly flew towards the side under the gravitational pull of the reincarnation eye. So, C2, are you ready? Mobile the second mountain to the sky above the Hokage building, facing the eight-tailed chitties below. Hinata Naruka raised the corners of his mouth slightly, raised his hand and dispersed the control of gravity. This. Kiribi was completely stunned, staring blankly at the mountain peak that fell again. In such a short period of time, there was no way he could fire another tailed beast jade of the same level just now. PS Self-review, this plot is a bit delayed and not exciting enough. It will end as soon as possible. I hope everyone can give more opinions in the comment area. Kumogakure forced me, and the third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 77. The mountain peak that lost the gravitational control of the reincarnated eye finally showed the sense of oppression brought by the huge mass and volume. The neat cross-section that had been blasted away by the golden wheel reincarnation was violently rubbing against the air below during its rapid fall. The villagers of Union Village who were preparing to take refuge in the distance were so frightened that they almost collapsed to the ground when they saw this terrifying momentum. Compare. Wake up. Deep in his heart, the eight-tailed bull ghost called frantically to Kiribi, who was stunned. Kiribi shivered and then came back to his senses. The wind pressure brought by the fall of the mountain peak also brought a heavy blow to the eight-tailed huge body. Great pressure. Oops. Kiribi secretly thought something was wrong. A small-tailed beast jade was quickly formed. He was unable to realize that there was a second mountain, and he was even in a daze for such a long time. Now, even if he condenses an ordinary-sized tailed beast jade, time is too late. Boom! The purple black-tailed beast jade penetrates from the bottom of the mountain peak, and then gradually disappears. Under the huge mountain peak, surrounding the hole drilled into the tailed beast jade, there are cracks. Tiny cracks. The tailed beast jade barely had any impact on the speed of the mountain's fall. Boom! The eight-tailed Gyuki, who had no way to hide, and the Rakage building next to it were completely buried by the falling mountain. The interior was already the cracked mountain peak exploded directly after falling, raising the buildings near the Rakage tower to the ground. After a long time, the fourth Rakage and others were wrapped in rubber-like shields and rushed out from under the mountain. When the mountain fell, the fourth Rakage, Dode, and several Kumogakure Umbu were still in the Rakage building. At the last moment, Dode used his blood succession limit meltdown to create a rubber-like shield, protecting several people below. Not long after, the eight-tailed ox ghost buried below barely managed to push open the rocks above. With a bang, Kiribi, who had been unconscious, appeared outside. After barely pushing out, after that, the eight-tailed Gyuki lost all his strength and exited the tailed beast form. As for Kiribi, he fainted when he was hit by the front of the mountain. Bang! Not bad, everyone is still alive and well. Hyuga Nariku clapped his hands and fell down from above. Kumogakure's barrier can no longer be maintained at all. Compare. You damn guy, I'll fight you. When the fourth Rakage saw the unconscious Kiribi, he immediately became furious and rushed towards Hyuga Nariku. Lord Rakage. The earth platform immediately formed a seal, forming a rubber-like wall in front of the fourth Rakage, blocking the fourth Rakage. Terrace. Are you going to stop me? The fourth Rakage, who was bounced back by the rubber, shouted to his assistant. Rakage-sama, we can't fight anymore. Dode glanced at the buildings around the Rakage building that were all buried by rocks, and said helplessly. The Rakage building was destroyed once before by Hyuga Nariku's thunder release Kirin. It was finally rebuilt, and now it was hit by a mountain again. No more. If the stalemate continues, the entire Union village will really be razed to the ground. Rakage Dano, do you still want to continue? I see, aren't there many mountains near Union village? Since Kumogakure believes that all blood inheritance boundaries should be yours, should the mountains around Kumogakure also be packed and sent in for you? Hyuga Nariku mocked with a smile. You. The fourth Rakage's face was full of anger. Rakage-sama, the opponent's chakra reaction has not weakened much. An attack like the one just now should be able to continue. 11, the sensing ninja next to him, stepped forward to remind him. 11 was also secretly frightened. After cutting off 2 mountains using some unknown method, he still carried the mountains and flew here to smash them down. After doing such a thing, the reaction has hardly changed. This guy is still not human. Rakage-sama, we can no longer fight, the second tail is now in the opponent's hands, and Kiribi is also unconscious. Moreover, if the fight continues here, Union village will really disappear. Tutai also dissuaded us. The fourth Rakage's face was frighteningly dark, but he still managed to say the following words. We will admit defeat and sign a peace agreement. Soon after. Lord Nariku, this is the agreement document I prepared. Narashikaku respectfully handed over the document in his hand. Hyuga Nariku previously told him to prepare the agreement he was about to sign, and also said that Kumogakure would surrender soon. Although he was very confident in Hyuga Nariku's ability, Narashikaku could not have imagined. Hyuga Nariku actually chopped down 2 mountains to smash open Kumogakure village. Whether it was cutting the mountain in half or lifting the mountain to smash it, Is this something that humans can do? Hinata Naruko took the agreement, read it, and frowned. Naruko-sama, I think it's better to be tougher on Kumogakure's conditions. Seeing Hinata Naruko frowning, Narashikaku said immediately. He thought Hinata Naruko felt that the conditions he proposed were too harsh. However, to be fair, Narashikaku thought his conditions this time could be said to be very strict. You know, during the Third Hokage period, although Konoha won 3 wars, it hardly gained any benefits from the war. Because he was worried that harsh conditions would lead to another war, Sarutobi Hiruzen hardly made any compensation demands to the defeated ninja villages. Is this what you call tough? Hyuga Naruko threw the agreement aside directly. We've already beaten him into his village, and he only made such a request. Are we in Konoha doing charity? As he said that, Hinata Naruko stretched out his fingers and gestured and said. First, all the losses caused by Kumogakure's attack on the country of fire must be doubled. Second, all the expenses for our expedition will be borne by Union Village. Third, the barrier ninjutsu in Union Village must also be handed over. Fourth, Kumogakure must hand over 30% of its future income to Konoha. Don't they like war very much? Let's see how they fight if they have no money. This. As the conditions were stated one by one, Narashikaku opened his mouth in surprise. Turn over 30% of your income to Konoha? There is no way Union would agree to it anyway. If I really agree, Kumogakure will almost be a ninja village affiliated with Konoha from now on. It would be difficult for Union to accept such conditions. Nara. Shikaku said with a bitter smile. According to what I said, your contract has been rejected. Go back and prepare a new one. Hyuga Naruko insisted. Cloud Hidden Village doesn't agree? Then beat them again until they agree. In the temporary office of the Fourth Hokage. Wishful thinking. The Fourth Hokage directly tore up the Konoha treaty that Todai handed over. If we are asked to hand over 30% of our income, we might as well just ask Union to be disbanded on the spot. Konoha seems to have a request from Hinata Naruko, and he is very insistent on this, Todai said helplessly. Among the 5 great ninja villages, Kumogakure is the most respected ninja village for military expansion and preparation for war. If 30% of the income is handed over, let alone military expansion and preparation for war, they will not even think about their own lives. How is the development progress of the chakra cannon? The Fourth Hokage was silent for a while with a livid face, and then asked. It will probably be put into use in a while, Hokage-sama, right? Todai had a bad feeling in his heart. Lord Hokage, do you want to continue fighting? As expected, the Fourth Hokage immediately said with hatred. It is impossible to agree to such conditions. Once the chakra cannon can be used, we will kill them all at once. Especially that Hyuga Naruko, kill him with one shot. Let's see how Konoha still dares to be arrogant with us. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 78. After forcing the Fourth Hokage to surrender, the Konoha ninjas outside the Cloud Hidden Village directly entered the Cloud Hidden Village. The two sides are currently negotiating a peace agreement. Although the Fourth Hokage was very dissatisfied with handing over 30% of his income, strangely, he did not object at all. The negotiations were at a stalemate. I may have seen that mysterious man wearing the one-eyed swirling mask. Uchiha. Itaka said with a solemn expression. The Fourth Hokage has already told Konoha that Sarutobi Hiruzen was taken away by a mysterious person who suddenly appeared. At first, Konoha did not believe it and thought it was the fourth generation. Hokage hid Sarutobi Hiruzen. After all, Kumogakure's barrier was always open. How could it be such a coincidence that a person who knew time and space ninjutsu just appeared and took Sarutobi Hiruzen away? However, after hearing the description of the fourth Raikage, Hyuga Naruka quickly determined who had taken action. Uchiha Obito. Such two people actually got together. Hyuga Naruka was thinking about something thoughtfully and motioned to Uchiha Boitaka continued. When I was in the Genin team, I once went out on a mission and met a mysterious man wearing a black robe and an orange single-eyed swirling mask. Uchiha Itaka's eyes were a little solemn and he continued. I still remember that I used the Kunao test attack to penetrate directly, as if the person was not there. These are consistent with the description of the fourth Raikage. At that time, the mysterious man killed two of my teammates, but for some reason, he didn't attack me. It was at that time that I opened my Sharingan. After Uchiha Itaka finished speaking, he reached out and touched his eyes, but he couldn't tell what his expression was. What is his purpose? Shisui asked back. Whether it was killing Itaka's teammates but leaving Itaka alone, or taking Sarutobi Hiruzen away. He had no idea what the other party's purpose was. For Itaka, he probably wanted to open Itaka's eyes. Hyuga Naruka guessed. After Uchiha Obito turned black, ordinary people couldn't understand the logic of many things. You can't use normal people's thoughts to guess the thoughts of a madman. However, these things can probably be guessed. The purpose of getting to a point with soil. He probably did it on purpose, trying to stimulate Itaka to open his eyes, and trying to cultivate Itaka into a power that he could use for his own benefit. Open your eyes. Uchiha Itaka quickly realized something was wrong. Why did he know that this method might stimulate me to open my Sharingan? Hyuga Naruka nodded approvingly and said. Therefore, the other party is likely to know the Uchiha clan very well, and it is even possible that he is the Uchiha clan. This. Shisui's expression was stunned. Maybe that person is also a member of their Uchiha clan? Not necessarily are Uchiha from Konoha. The original Nine-Tails rebellion might have been caused by an Uchiha hiding in the dark. Itaka Uchiha guessed, with a serious expression. Such an enemy who hides in the dark, has no idea of his purpose, and is very likely to have ill intentions towards Konoha is very scary. What's more, the opponent is likely to possess the power of time and space ninja. Technique. Well, if that person is the murderer of the Nine-Tails rebellion, he took away Sarutobi Hiruzen before. Shisui broke into a cold sweat. Here comes the question. Is there any relationship between Hiruzen Sarutobi and the Nine-Tails rebellion? During the Nine-Tails rebellion, the fourth generation died, and then Hiruzen Sarutobi became Hokage again. It can be called the biggest winner of the Nine-Tails rebellion. Is there any conspiracy here? Uchiha Itaka also had a solemn expression, and he also doubted whether Sarutobi Hiruzen was related to the Nine-Tails rebellion. Hinata Naruka couldn't help but laugh. He naturally knew that the Nine-Tails rebellion was caused by Obito, a lunatic. But why should he explain to Sarutobi Hiruzen? Shisui, come with me. Hyuga Naruka said with a chuckle in his heart. If you want to deal with Obito, you must crack the invincible divine power. And it just so happens that Hyuga Naruka is currently exploring the time and space capabilities of the Tsenjiken. Yes, the Tsenjiken also has time and space ability. In the original work, the special passage between the Earth and the Moon was created through the reincarnation eye. And after mastering this time and space ninjutsu that belongs exclusively to the reincarnation eye, Hinata Naruka has one more system panel. Column. Time and space ninjutsu, 3000/10,000. Time and space ninjutsu requires the consumption of chakra, but it does not belong to the yin-yang, 5 elements and 7 series of escape techniques. Similar to the sealing technique, it also does not fall within the scope of the 7 series of escape techniques. As for the others, even medical ninjutsu, they all fall into the category of 7 series escape techniques. After mastering the time and space ninjutsu of the reincarnation eye, Hinata Nariku's time and space ninjutsu points were directly increased to 3,000. Shisui, how is your vision? On the way, Hyuga Nariku and Uchiha Shisui were walking and chatting. With the chakra of your previous reincarnation eye, senior, your vision has returned to the level it was when you first turned on the kaleidoscope. Ji Shui said with a smile. Hinata Nariku frowned slightly. Has your pupil power not increased at all? Zishui was startled and replied no. It should be a problem of different sources. Hinata Nariku said after thinking for a while. The essence of Byakugan and Sharinan are yin escape, but their performance is different. After his Byakugan is enhanced to the extreme, it also opens the reincarnation eye, not the eternal Mangekyo. With the strength of his reincarnation eye chakra, the most he can do is restore Shisui's pupil power, but it cannot make his eyes any further. And if he cannot evolve to the eternal eye or transplant Hashirama cells, an ordinary kaleidoscope will eventually become blind. You can try to learn Yin Seal. Hinata Nariku thought for a while and suggested. Seal the Yin escape chakra extracted from your daily practice, and then mobilize this part of the Yin escape chakra when you need to use the kaleidoscope. Shisui's eyes suddenly lit up. The Yin escape chakra he usually cultivates is not as strong as Hyuga Nariku's Tenseigan chakra, and there is no way to make up for the lost eye power. But if this chakra is retained well, in battle, there is no need to consume a lot of kaleidoscope vision. With his meritorious service in the war, it is still possible to apply to view the Book of Seals and learn this ninjutsu. Thinking of this, Shisui quickly thanked Hinata Nariku. Soon, the two rushed to the Raikage building. The rubble on the previous mountain peak had been cleared away. The Raikage building was rebuilt again. Without paying any attention to the obstruction of Kumogakure Umbu, Hyuga Nariku walked directly into the Raikage's office. The fourth Raikage looking at Hyuga Nariku, who walked in expressionlessly, he was shocked. He thought that Hyuga Nariku knew that they were stepping up their efforts to develop chakra cannons and came to attack. However, Hyuga Nariku's eyes were on the fourth Raikage. He crossed over and looked at Mabi, the fourth Raikage secretary, and said, I heard that there is a space-time ninjutsu called Tensendo no Jutsu in Cloud Hidden Village. The fourth Raikage was startled for a moment, then slapped the table and stood up. What do you want to do? Your treaty doesn't say this. So there it is now. Hyuga Nariku said indifferently. The hatred in the fourth Raikage's heart has deepened. But he also knows that now is not the opportunity to attack face to face. At least he must use the chakra cannon to kill Hinata Nariku. After that, Konoha without Hinata Nariku, the Union don't need to be afraid at all. Mabai, take them there. With veins popping out on his forehead, the fourth Raikage was silent for a while before he said. But he sneered in his heart. Not to mention whether you can learn it. Even if you can learn it, if you get rid of it, the art sent by God will not be spread. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 79. Compared with the dark skin color of most people in Union Village, although Mabai's skin color is also darker, it gives people a completely different look. With short white hair, a slightly dark complexion and a plump figure, she looks uniquely beautiful. The art of heavenly sending is generally used to teleport items. If you want to try to learn this to teleport yourself, it is best to give up this idea. Mabai said to Hinata Nariku and Shisui. The human body generally cannot withstand the pressure exerted on the body by high-speed transmission, and may even fall apart during the transmission process. So far, only the third Raikage has succeeded in trying to teleport using the human body. Mabai slowly introduced. What is the principle of the art of divine sending? Hyuga Nariku asked curiously. He had previously requested the transcription notes of the Flying Thunder God technique from Shisui. The application of the Flying Thunder God technique requires the inscription of a specific technique. This technique will act as the role of coordinates. The art of heavenly sending can teleport the target to the destination at the speed of light. However, the premise is that the teleporter knows the location of the destination. Mabai explained. In other words, do we still need some understanding of space? Ji Shui nodded slowly and said while thinking. The caster must know the location of the teleportation destination in order to teleport the target to the designated place. In addition, strong defense is also needed to resist the pressure of friction with air caused by high-speed transmission. Hyuga Naraku combined his knowledge of time and space ninjutsu and said, like Flying Thunder God, the method of teleportation is actually a direct flash between two coordinates, rather than instantaneous crossing of distance at super high speeds like the art of heavenly sending. His reincarnation time and space ninjutsu directly opens a passage between two locations. The advantage of this is that after the passage is built, anyone can easily pass through it. The disadvantage is also very obvious, it will consume a lot of chakra. In other words, the time and space ninjutsu that opens channels or portals in this way consumes a lot of chakra. In the official Naruto fan work Boruto, the future Sasuke masters such a time and space ninjutsu. Space ninjutsu. Each time it is activated, a large amount of pupil power and chakra are consumed. If used too often, the Megatama in Sasuke's 6 Megatama reincarnation eyes will even temporarily disappear. Because the amount of chakra consumed is too large, it is difficult to play a direct role in combat. However, in comparison, this heavenly sending technique is much easier to learn than the Flying Thunder God technique. Ji Shui couldn't help but sigh. There are even advancements to the ordinary Flying Thunder God technique. Throw the kunao that depicts the Flying Thunder God technique, and then teleport directly to the kunao that flew out. It can only be teleported to the position of a static kunao. From the stationary Flying Thunder God technique to the high-speed moving technique, the perceived difficulty is completely different. Indeed, in comparison, the potential of the Flying Thunder God technique is much greater. Hyuga Naraku left a kunao with a pupil pattern on the ground, and slowly formed a seal in his hand. Brush. With the dazzling electric light, the next second, Hinatan Naraku appeared outside the village of Kumogakure. Stay where he is. Mabai was stunned. Didn't she just say that the human body can hardly withstand the tearing of high-speed transmission? What's going on with this person? He didn't even give her any time to react, and just launched the sky. The sending technique left. However, before she could speak, Hinatan Naraku came back with a brush. Are you still alive? Mabai was shocked. This is the second person after the Third Hokage who tried to use the teleportation technique and survived. The speed is okay. If you don't consider the need for seals, the speed of transmission is almost the same as the Flying Thunder God technique. Hyuga Naraku said as he scattered the light blue yin escape armor around him. He did not turn on the reincarnation chakra mode just now, but wrapped his whole body with yin escape chakra armor. When he was just teleporting, Hinatan Naraku felt there was a strong tearing. At the same time, there was also a discharge due to violent friction with the air. However, with the original defensive strength of his yin escape armor, he could completely withstand it. Senior, you have also learned the art of Flying Thunder God. Uchiha Shisui sighed with emotion. It's just a section of Flying Thunder God, and it's hard for me to sense the coordinates of the moving Flying Thunder God now. Hyuga Naraku shook his head and said. He was able to learn Flying Thunder God First Dan so quickly because of his understanding of space brought by the space ninjutsu during the reincarnation eye. However, on top of Flying Thunder God First Dan, there are also Flying Thunder God Second Dan and Flying Thunder God First Dan. The Flying Thunder God guides thunder. Namikaze Minato, who is the best at using the Flying Thunder God technique, can even use the Flying Thunder God technique to transfer the ten-tailed beast Tama, and even the Ninja Alliance. You should also try it. As long as Suzanu's defense is turned on, you can withstand the tearing of high-speed teleportation. Hyaga Naruko said to Shisui. Let me give it a try. Shisui opened the Susanoo with some uncertainty, and at the same time began to form seals in his hand. Mabai subconsciously wanted to stop him, but didn't know what to say. Here is someone who has easily mastered and experienced the art of divine sending. Just now, Hyaga Naruko not only used the heavenly sending technique directly after listening to her simple explanation, he even boldly used it to teleport himself. And, he succeeded. Mabai thought that Hinata Naruko would turn into a pile of torn corpses. Or, at least, he should be seriously injured. How could there be nothing like this? However, the next moment, Mabai discovered that Shisui, who was wrapped in the emerald green skull suit Susanoo, disappeared directly in place while the electric light flashed. He also succeeded. Mabai felt that she had suffered a big blow today. You know, the art of heavenly sending is not an easy ninjutsu to learn. It should be said that all time and space ninjutsu are not easy to learn. She has mastered the art of heavenly sending. This is something she has always been proud of. Aren't you worried that his defense might not hold up? Mabai couldn't help but asked Hinata Naruko. Shisui's defense withstood the tearing, it was enough. After the words fell, Shisui's figure flashed out next to the flying thunder god Konao he had just dropped. Okay, I can bear it. Zisui patted his chest and breathed a sigh of relief. Although Hyaga Naruko had just completed the teleportation easily, Zisui was not confident that he would be able to withstand it. How could you learn it so quickly? Seeing that Uchiha Shisui was not as relaxed as Hyaga Naruko, but he also mastered the art of heavenly sending, Mabai finally couldn't help it. On the basis of mastering Fei Lei Shen's understanding of space, as long as the body can bear it, it is not too difficult to master this heavenly gift. Hyaga Naruko explained nonchalantly. There are two key points in the heavenly sending technique. First, the perception and understanding of space. Second, the body can withstand tearing. And he and Shisui have already satisfied the first point, it just happens to satisfy the second point. Mabai. Master the flying thunder god. Understanding of space? Don't make things like this so simple. Somewhere in Kumogakure village, Uchiha Obito's figure suddenly appeared in a burst of space distortion. There is no need to think about revenge against Hyaga Naruko, he is already dead. Obito said with a sneer. Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned. What's going on? He already knows that the mysterious man in front of him secretly controls Kumogakure village. And he is willing to sell his power, and the corresponding request is that the other party will help him avenge Hyaga Naruko. That idiot was so bold that he took the Konoha ninja to live in the hidden cloud village. Obito said with disdain in his eyes. He didn't master the time and space ninjutsu that can retreat at any time, yet he dared to be so bold. In his opinion, Hinata Naruko was looking for death. I saw before that cloud-hidden village is secretly building a chakra cannon. It is estimated that it will be completed soon. When the time comes, Hyaga Naruko will be the first person to die under the chakra cannon. Recalling the scene of Hyaga Naruko flying holding a mountain, Obito's eyes were full of fear. Such a power that cannot be controlled by him is a threat to the Eye of the Moon plan. He has no idea until now, and he will definitely die. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 80. In Union Village. The residence of the Konoha ninja. Narashikaku felt that he had been uneasy today. It's like something big is about to happen. Lord Naruko, isn't it too dangerous for us in Hidden Cloud Village? Narashikaku came to Hinata Naruko and said. He has said this many times in recent times. But every time, Hinata Naruko said it's okay. Back then, the second Hokage took only 6 of his disciples to sign a peace agreement with Kumoyan village, but he encountered a rebellion by the Golden Horn and Silver Horn. Nara, Shikaku said while rubbing his forehead. Do you want to say that there are still people in Union Village who are not convinced and want to fight with us again? Hyuga Nariku looked at the cloud-hidden village outside the window and said. I do still have this suspicion. Nara Shikaku hesitated for a while. However, if he had been in Kumogakure's position, he would never be hostile to Hyuga Nariku at this time. It was not just Kumo who was shocked by Hyuga Nariku's mountain bombing. Yin, and him. He couldn't imagine how the cloud-hidden village could still have the confidence to resist in the face of Hyuga Nariku, who could drag a mountain up and hit people. However, the uneasiness in his heart now was real. You're right. Hyuga Nariku nodded, his bright reincarnation eyes staring at somewhere. The fourth Hokage was indeed not someone who would give in easily. He was just delaying these days. As for Konoha's request for Kumogakure to hand over 30% of his income to Konoha, the fourth Hokage did not reject it outright. He just asked people to slowly negotiate to see if they could reduce it a little. However, Hyuga Nariku was mentally clear. The fourth Hokage had no intention of accepting this condition. No, it should be said that the fourth Hokage had no intention of signing a peace agreement. Procrastination. Nara Shikaku's voice became hoarse. The bad premonition became stronger and stronger. Meaning, will Kumogakure still attack us? When and how? A drop of cold sweat fell on Nara Shikaku's forehead. Immediately, Hyuga Nariku stood up with a little expectation in his eyes. Along with the sound of chaotic footsteps, someone ran over panting. Lord Nariku. Oh no. The person who came was a Hyuga ninja, and his face was already covered with a look of horror. Don't rush and speak slowly. Hyuga Nariku was not anxious at all and said with relief. Hyuga ninja relaxed subconsciously, and then suddenly remembered what he wanted to say and said hurriedly. Lord Nariku, I suddenly observed just now that the chakra reaction in the buildings of Union Village has almost disappeared. After the words fell, Nara Shikaku was suddenly startled. He suddenly realized that something was wrong. Today, the streets of Kumogakure were too quiet. Although it was due to the previous blow to the Mountain Blast village and the arrival of a large number of Konoha ninjas. The number of people walking around Union Village has been greatly reduced recently. However, this cannot be like now, with almost no one. Just before he knew it, Union Village seemed to be empty. Only the ninjas of Konoha are left. What on earth do Hokage and the others want to do? Nara Shikaku couldn't help but roared. Coming. Hyuga Nariku looked at the sudden light in front of him and said softly. Is it guaranteed to be powerful enough to blow away the place where 2,000 ninjas live in Konoha? The fourth Hokage asked a Kumogakure ninja. No problem. The Kumogakure ninja who was responsible for developing the chakra cannon wiped the sweat from his head and said. In order to ensure the concentration of power, we cancelled the design of beam dispersion in the previous plan. In Kumogakure's design for the chakra cannon, a beam of light emitted will separate after a certain distance and disperse into more beams. But now in order to ensure that it can kill with one hit, this design has been cancelled. Very good. The fourth Hokage nodded heavily and said. Who is responsible for aiming? Target me where Hyuga Nariku lives? If he wants our Union Village to surrender, prepare to go to hell. Tutai's expression was a little hesitant. Hokage-sama, do we really want to do this? He really doesn't want to go to war with Konoha anymore. He doesn't want to face the suffocation of a mountain falling down anymore. It's already this time, what are you still talking about? The fourth Hokage glanced at the platform coldly and said. That brat Hyuga Nariku, does he think our hidden cloud village can be easily manipulated? He made a mistake and should pay the price. If he has anything else to say, just wait until he dies and then find a way to entrust his dream to me. However, Yukato is still in Konoha and has never been released. Tutai advised again. I can't control that much anymore. The fourth Hokage's face was full of anger. We have fought for it many times, but Konoha has been holding on to the Yuki people, and even said that they will not release the Yuki people until a peace agreement is signed. They have no intention of signing a peace agreement at all. Everyone. The fourth Hokage roared. Get ready for chakra reloading. Yes. More than 2,000 ninjas stood in rows on top of the chakra transmission formation. Kiribi also began to transmit the Eight Tails chakra to the chakra cannon. Instantly, the chakra transmission formation lit up. Everyone's chakra began to flow towards them, gathering in the chakra cannon. Chakra recharge, 30%, 70%, 90%, 99%, 100%, chakra loading, completed. The fourth Hokage roared, launch. Let them turn to ashes and repent for me. Oh yeah. Chakra cannon, boom. Damn brat, explode. Kilabi used a rapping tone and suddenly pulled down the firing rod. The dazzling chakra accumulated emitted a dazzling light, and along with indescribable heat, a ray of light shot out into the sky. However, one day, a huge black curtain appeared out of thin air in front of the Konoha ninja's residence. The black curtain, which was so dark that it could almost make people's eyes sink in, stood quietly in front of it, allowing the torrent of chakra cannons to impact on it. The wanton energy hit the dark jade curtain of Seeking Deo, but it failed to have any effect. The torrent of chakra could only helplessly disperse to both sides. Boom. Those who were bombarded by chakra cannons were surrounded by the jade curtain of Seeking Deo that was not blocked. The building, as fragile as a bubble, turned into dust in the shocking explosion. The amazing explosion was like a sun rising from the ground. Go to hell. Hinatan Naraku, you damn bastard. The fourth Hokage looked at the explosion dust in front and said happily. Suddenly, a voice appeared in the sky. Thank you very much for helping me build the chakra cannon. I will take it back to Konoha. Hyaga Naraku stretched out his palm towards the chakra cannon, and the boundless gravity attracted the entire fort into the air. The minds of the fourth Hokage and the Kumogakure ninja present went blank. They couldn't help but wonder if they were hallucinating. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Kumogakure forced me, and the third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 81. Boom. Under the gravity of the reincarnated eye, the heavy chakra cannon rises from the ground. Damn it! Stop him quickly. At this time, the fourth Hokage finally came to his senses and gave up his previous self-deception. However, it was already too late. The chakra cannon that rose into the sky landed steadily on Hinatan Naraku's side. Even the Kumogakure ninjas who rushed towards Hinatan Naraku were also knocked back by a repulsive force. Damn bastard! How are you still alive? How can you still be alive? The fourth Hokage was so angry that he almost went crazy. The blow that he thought was a sure victory failed to eliminate Hyaga Naraku, the biggest scourge. As if he had thought of something, the fourth Hokage sneered and said. You survived alone, right? You abandoned all your subordinates and escaped the attack of the chakra cannon by yourself. In the eyes of the fourth Hokage, no matter how powerful Hyaga Naraku is, he is only as powerful as him. It is absolutely impossible for other Konoha ninjas to survive the explosion of the chakra cannon. Next, only Hinata is left. There is only one Naraku, and they also have a combination and 2,000 ninjas. The pile can be piled up to death. Hinatan Naraku. Hinatan Naraku asked directly. Didn't the Hokage Dano also abandon your two-tailed Jinchuriki? Yukato is still with us. The fourth Hokage's expression darkened. However, he had already been mentally prepared for this. If we can get rid of you, the biggest enemy of Union Village, Yamuran's death will be valuable. Yeah. Hyaga Naraku smiled jokingly. After a long time, the dust of the explosion dispersed. The intact Konoha ninja residence appeared in front of everyone. The buildings next to it had been reduced to ashes in the aftermath of the chakra cannon. All the wood the leaf ninja, as well as the 2 captured Yukito, were all intact. Lord Raikage. Yukito's expression was a little complicated. Mixed with it was a sense of anger at being abandoned, as well as resentment towards the 4th Raikage's words just now. How can it be? The 4th Raikage's eyes widened. The scene in front of him seemed a bit ridiculous. Around the Konoha ninja's residence, there were traces of ravines left by the chakra cannons. But the Konoha ninja's residence in the middle was not affected at all. It doesn't seem to be affected at all. Raikage, you know nothing about power. Hyuga Naruko shook his head and said. Being able to condense the Tao-seeking jade, even though he can only be considered a pseudo 6th level now, there is a fundamental gap between him and ordinary ninjas. You have your defenses enveloped everyone. The 4th Raikage said in disbelief when he thought of this. The power of the chakra cannon is self-evident. He arranged for the evacuation of the villagers of Union Village in advance. A very important point is that the power of the chakra cannon may affect the wood around the residence of the leaves. And the scene in front of me now also proves this. The torrent of chakra cannons directed towards the 2 sides of the residence of the Konoha ninjas directly cleared the obstacles in front. The boundless ravine even extended to the outside of Kumogakure village. So with such terrifying power, why can Hyuga Naruko lead everyone in Konoha to protect himself? Wrong. The 4th Raikage thought of another thing that made his hair stand on end. How could you possibly defend yourself in such a timely manner? You knew in advance that we were going to use the chakra cannon, right? Recalling what Hyuga Naruko said just now, the 4th Raikage became more and more convinced of this. Thank you for helping me build the chakra cannon? This bastard already knew that they had been secretly making the chakra cannon. That's right, otherwise why do you think I was willing to delay for so long to negotiate with you to sign a peace agreement? Hyuga Naruko said with a smile. He had been looking forward to the scene before. He was looking forward to the 4th Raikage discovering that the weapons they had prepared for so long not only failed to work, but even made wedding clothes for others. Asshole! The 4th Raikage yelled angrily, and with a flash of electricity all over his body, he rushed towards Hyuga Naruko. Is this guy treating their Kumogakure village as a clown to tease him, the Raikage? However, useless. Hyuga Naruko's expression remained unchanged as he kicked the 4th Raikage back. Ahem. The 4th Raikage struggled to get up from the ground and became afraid, and said angrily. You bastard, why are you teasing our hidden cloud village? Ha! Hinata Naruko sneered, and his expression gradually turned into disdain. I think Raikage Dano seems to have forgotten. Do you want me to remind you? Isn't it because you, Union, sent people to try to get you to look down on you under the guise of peace talks? After the failure, you came back and asked Konoha to hand over me, the so-called murderer. And after you found out that we, Konoha, were fighting among ourselves, your greed became even greater. You even directly sent out troops with your troops. Moreover, even now, aren't you the ones actively trying to use chakra cannon to kill me? Hyuga Naruko's understanding of Cloud Hidden Village is that this is a group of greedy bandits. In the original work, they stole the secrets of the kingdom of Shuji, and even the 4th Raikage personally led the team. The shadow of one village led the team to do this the sneaking thing. It can be seen that Union Village does not regard this kind of thing as shame at all. Union Village should be lucky that they have never encountered anyone in Union that the entire village can't afford to offend in so many years. Until they bumped into he is Hyuga Naruko. In fact, Hyuga Naruko is a little curious. If he can find a way to guide Kumo Hidden and let Kumo Hidden discover that a monk named Cicn has good things that Kumo Hidden is interested in, then will the 4th Raikage boldly bring him the team goes to grab it? I'm afraid that the spirit body will be beaten to pieces, and even the dirty land reincarnation will not be able to recruit. Maybe Atsutsuki Ishiki will wonder, why does such a dishonor dare to provoke him? Shaking his head, Hyuga Nariku said. In the final analysis, you Union think you are strong, so you dare to cause trouble everywhere. However, you have met someone stronger than yourself, and now you can't afford to lose. Even if it's a sneak attack, even if you have to use your own Jinhuriki, you all want to get rid of me. The fourth Raikage's face became increasingly gloomy, and he yelled angrily. Nonsense! Everyone, come with me and kill him. Yes. A group of Kumogakure ninjas responded loudly. They were also very unhappy with Hyuga Nariku and the other Konoha ninjas. They wanted to avenge the 3,000 people who died in the previous battle. Some were unhappy because they had to huddle in the barrier before. Some are unhappy with Konoha pressing down on them, Kumogakure. That's why they participated in this chakra cannon attack plan today. Act recklessly. Hyuga Nariku snorted. Chakra quickly condensed in front of him, and 9 black ink-seeking jade emerged. The 9 seeking jade formed a circle in front of Hyuga Nariku, began to rotate at high speed, and turned into a light blue colorful aperture. Jinlun reincarnation explosion. With Hinatan Nariku's emotionless voice, a terrifying storm broke out. The storm swept everything and destroyed everything in front. The peaks in Kumogakure village were as fragile as chickens and dogs under the strong storm. Collapsed one after another. It took a long time. The storm gradually subsided. Many peaks in Union village had all collapsed at this time and became a pile of rubble. In front of Hinatan Nariku, there was a place buried by rubble. Huge rubble. The stone suddenly shook twice, and a huge thing jumped out from below. Boom! With a dull landing sound, the 8-tailed ox ghost landed with a bang. The huge tentacles spread out, revealing dozens of Kumogakure ninjas. The 4th generation of Thunder Cage raised his hand and waved away the dust in front of his eyes, lost in thought. Todai looked around, looking at the Kumogakure village that was still in ruins, with bitterness on his face. Sure enough, they should not provoke Hinatan Nariku anymore. To have saved so many people was worthy of the 8 tails. Hyuga Nariku nodded slowly and commented. Damn it! The 4th Raikage's eyes were splitting. What do you mean by saving so many people? That's more than 2,000 people. In a hurry, the 8 tails could only save the dozens of people closest to them. You damn bastard, if you dare to destroy my Kumogakure, you will die. With red eyes, the 4th Raikage roared and was about to charge towards Hinatan Nariku. I really don't know what to say. Hyuga Nariku shook his head. Then, destroy it? 9 seeking jade reappeared in front of me, gathering up one by one. Along with the golden light that made people unable to look directly, a dazzling golden sword pierced the sky. Golden will reincarnation explodes. With Hyuga Nariku's solemn pronouncement voice like a god, the long sword that broke through the sky fell to the earth. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 82. Outside Union Village. More than 10 kilometers away. A group of villagers who hastily evacuated Union Village gathered here. Why are we still fighting Konoha and even asking us to evacuate the village? The villagers in Union complained. I heard that the Raikage-sama is going to use a secret weapon to kill all the Konoha ninjas at once. What if it fails? Someone next to me retorted. That is, what if it fails and that terrible Konoha ninja comes to destroy the village with the mountain? I don't want to go through that scene again. Just when the crowd was talking in confusion, a light suddenly lit up in Union Village in the distance. Is that our secret weapon? Those damn Konoha ninjas must be dead now. Now that the Konoha ninjas have been killed, can we go back? However, it didn't take long for the villagers of Union Village to see that all the mountain peaks in the village had collapsed in an invisible fierce storm. What happened? Still fighting. The village is gone. I just said don't mess with Konoha anymore. The leader of Konoha is too scary. But then, when they saw the next scene, everyone was shocked and speechless. A golden sword stretching for tens of kilometers rose into the sky, seeming to split the entire earth in half. In Union Village, a ravine extending to infinity appeared on the ground. In the center of the entire Union Village, a bottomless rift valley appeared. Boom! There was a loud bang. Kirabi's figure appeared. On both sides, the huge body of the eight-tailed ox ghost had been cut in half. Sure enough, he is not dead. As expected of the eight tails, his vitality is really tenacious. Hyuga Nariku praised. Uchiha Sasuke used Amaterasu to burn the eight tails. Kirabi left a tentacle and successfully slipped away. Uchiha Madara took away the eight tails. In that case, the eight tails can leave a tentacle to save it. Kirabi's life. Later, Atsutsuki Momoshiki came to recover the tailed beast, and the eight tails also escaped by throwing a tentacle. However, at this time, only a few people were left protected by the eight tails under the Golden Wheel reincarnation explosion. The Fourth Hokage looked at the Kumo hidden village that was split into two by the sword mark, and felt in a daze. Thinking back to the golden sword before, the Fourth Hokage finally understood that the weapon Hyuga Nariku used to blast the Kumo hidden village. How did you get the mountains? Why are the two mountains even at the bottom? Because those two mountains were completely cut off by a sword. However, no matter it is cutting off a mountain, it is still holding up a mountain. In front of the blow just now, they were all dwarfed. The golden sword that stretched to the end of the side almost cut the world apart. This was not an enemy they could deal with their own strength. The Fourth Hokage's opponent, the few men left behind, made a gesture quietly, and then said to Hinata Nariku, "We Union are willing to sign a peace agreement and we will accept all conditions." After saying that, the Fourth Hokage stared at Hinata Nariku. However, Hinata Nariku did not speak. Instead, he raised his hand and lightly moved towards the back of the Fourth Hokage. An earthy yellow jar style. The vessel fell into Hinata Nariku's hands. He gently closed the lid, and then Hinata Nariku said, "Is this the so-called willingness to sign a peace agreement? Want to use the Six Paths Ninja tool to seal me? What the Fourth Hokage and the others want to use is the Amber Purge Bottle. The legendary Six-Path Ninja tool. The Amber Purge Bottle is the strongest of the 5 Six-Path Ninja tools in Kumogakure village." The holder responded, "If you do, it will be sealed into the Amber Bottle." Hyuga Nariku wasn't sure if it would be useful to him, and he didn't try it. He just took the Amber Bottle into his own hands and let's see what else you can do. The Fourth Hokage, their faces were ashen. This was almost their last resort. If the 6 ninja tools couldn't do anything, they really couldn't think of any way to deal with Hyuga Nariku. Just when the Fourth Hokage was silent, Hyuga Nariku faced the unconscious Kirabi, recruited and sucked him over. "Come out." With a low cry, Hinata Nariku used a ball of light blue chakra to pull the eight-tailed ogre out of Kirabi's body. Completely pulled out? Soon, Kirabi's complexion began to turn pale, and his life breath gradually disappears. "Asshole! Give the game back." The Fourth Hokage's eyes were splitting, and he immediately forgot about the strength gap between the two, and rushed towards Hinata Nariku. "Then I'll give it back to you," Hyuga Nariku said nonchalantly. He raised his hand and threw it with Kirabi, knocking the Fourth Hokage running towards the ground and sending him flying back. Opening the lid of the amber bottle, Hyuga Nariku pointed it at the eight-tailed Gyuki. "Come in." The eight-tail's huge body is extremely weak at this time. It was cut in half by the Golden Wheel reincarnation explosion before, almost losing all its combat power. But, even so, the eight tails had no intention of speaking. "Are you very brave, but do you think I can't do anything if you don't speak up?" Hyuga Nariku chuckled, and summoned a light blue chakra ball that exuded a shimmering light. This is one of the abilities of the Tsenjigen, mental control. Punch the light blue chakra ball into the Eight Tails body, Hinatan Naraku spoke again. Eight Tails, come in. Yes. The Eight Tails' giant eyes were blank, and he responded without any emotion. Immediately, the body as huge as a mountain seemed to turn into a liquid form, and was thrown into a small amber bottle. Damn it! Release the Eight Tails. The fourth Hokage's eyes were red. If the Eight Tails were sealed back as quickly as possible, Kiribi might be able to be saved. He originally thought that even if Hyuga Naraku pulled out the Eight Tails, he would not be able to seal the Eight Tails. After all, even if he got the amber bottle, he couldn't make the Eight Tails speak. Unexpectedly, Hyuga Naraku used some unknown method to directly control the Eight Tails and successfully sealed it. Have you finally experienced this feeling? Hyuga Naraku stretched out his hand and grabbed the neck of the fourth Hokage who was running over. Then you failed to steal the Byakugan, but instead asked Konoha to hand me over. What did you think at that time? If the person you want Konoha to hand over is another person's father, brother, what would you think? If he hadn't captured the leader of the Kumogakure mission, then Hyuga Hisashi would have been handed over. Hyuga Niji would have lost his father. Hyuga Hisashi would have lost his brother. Why can't your fourth Hokage's brother die? Hyuga Naraku held the jade golden sword of Seeking Dao in his right hand and asked. The fourth Hokage looked at Kiribi who had completely lost his life breath, his eyes full of resentment. Ha! Hinatan Naraku chuckled. Until this moment, the fourth Hokage had no regrets, and did not feel that he had done anything wrong before. Sure enough, it was completely a gangster style. He could plunder others at will. And if others hurt him, I don't care whether the other party is right or not, I must take revenge. You are neither willing to obey, nor have much strength, and you are always trying to cause trouble. This makes it very difficult for me to handle. Hyuga Naraku slowly raised the golden sword in his hand and continued. In this case, then you and your brother, go to death together. After saying that, Hyuga Naraku pierced the golden sword into the chest of the fourth Hokage. The strongest body wearing thunder armor was penetrated without any hindrance in front of the extremely compressed golden will tensei blast. Fourth Hokage stared at Hinatan Naraku. His last expression was fixed on the resentment at this moment.